Hello, this is Kylland back again. This is Ballew with me. I think you guys remember him.
Hey guys.
We're here at Cannibal Industries in Santa Clarita, and we are going to show you some helpful tips on how to mic yourself today. What are some situations where you'd have to mic yourself?
Well, off the top of my head, if you are a YouTuber, an aspiring influencer, if you're a vlogger,
or just on a film set and you're not totally sure of the hygiene protocol and you just want to mic yourself. You
just want to feel a little safer and doing it on your own. Obviously, this stuff takes practice, but we'll kind of get you on the right road.
Should we get started?
Let's get started.
Let's go.
Where are we going?
So the first thing we want to start talking about is where you want to place your mic and why.
Placing your mic is about striking a balance between a few different variables. Generally speaking, your lav is going to sound its best when it's fully exposed to surrounding air, but there are a couple issues that come up with this. One obvious problem is that with your mic mounted on the outside of your clothing, your audience can see it. Now, while that can be acceptable in some news and broadcast situations, it's generally not preferred. The second issue is that when your mic is exposed, it becomes vulnerable to noise from wind and surrounding airflow. So what are some things to consider here?
Well, the first thing to consider with a lavalier is what is the polar pattern, what's the listening pattern on it. So if you hold that up for me, this 4063 is what's called an omnidirectional, which means it's getting 360 degrees on this axis and then 360 degrees on this one. So you can point the mic up, you can point it down, you can put it on its side. So if we have the microphone pointing up and down and we're in an open air situation, and I'll give you an example where this would be open air. So I've got my mic hidden behind my lapel here, and if I look down on it and I say the letter P or T or D, I've got this big plosive air that's coming out of my mouth, right? So what can be beneficial is maybe not, if you have it in open air, like on your shirt, you could potentially put it, not even there, we could actually go up, if we went to your skin, where the hem of your shirt is up between your skin there.
So right here?
We could actually hide that in a way that the element is just kind of like, here's the hem of the shirt, here's the microphone itself, and it's basically flush. But what might actually be a little bit better is if, turning the microphone on its side, because that microphone is listening in a 360 degrees, so instead of that plosive of air coming down and hitting the top of the mic, it's just kind of rushing past the grill. So that might be one of the reasons why you turn it upside down. Now, when I do neck ties, I always put the microphone in the tie, and I'll come around the neck and everything like that. But most of the time what ends up happening is like when you look at a tie, so you have the microphone, and it actually is pointing down, but that's about the only place you can really put it. It's pointing down.
That's true.
It's a little bit throaty there, but if you try to get that into the lapel of the jacket or everything, you're going to get a bunch of shoulder noise and all that.
Let's talk about what that means, what you just said, throaty. So what are you referring to?
So let's just demonstrate it. So being throaty is going to sound like this. Hi, I'm Ballew, and it probably sounds a whole lot different with the microphone up at my throat. Does it sound different up there, Todd? Okay, I was looking for affirmation. Affirmation in all things in my life.
So what about the opposite of throaty? What if you put it down? What if I put it near my belly button?
I'll give you another example. I'll keep doing it. So as you can tell, my voice actually, sounds like I'm a whole lot closer. But if I just kill my microphone and we're just listening to you, but you're hearing the crosstalk over my mic, obviously I'm going to sound like I'm a lot farther away, and then I'll bring my own mic back in. And so having it far away, not necessarily a good thing.
Yep. Totally. So when placing your mic, you have a few different options. You might get something like this, which is a little mini mount that the lav mic will be placed into. You might get something prepared even with a little bit of fur to give it some extra wind protection, extra clothing noise, wrestle protection. Or you could get something like this. This is our chest strap. So
these things are pretty great.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
This one would go like so, under your clothes preferably, but the cool part about this, other than the fact that it has several sized pockets here depending on how thick or small your lavalier mic is, it's also got this really cool feature on the underside for cable management. So the cable just goes right through these cool little slots and doesn't move.
So that is going to bring us into our next tip, which is cable management. And I'm going to start off with talking about why cable management is important. So the top that you're wearing, underneath the second layer there, is kind of thin. So if you just let the wire just fall straight to the ground, you know, we're going to create shadows. You know, shadows are everywhere. Our key light is in front of us here, and it's going to cast a shadow to anything behind it. So what I like to do is we got the mic here in the center, and then I like to go horizontally across underneath the pectoral, and I choose the pec because it's in effect creating a shadow, because most of the time the light's coming from above anyways, so you're kind of taking advantage of the shadow that's created. And then I oftentimes just come straight down the side, you know, and that gives you a little bit of more strain relief as your torso is turning.
That's
twisting.
very important. Strain relief. You know, once you've got this beautifully placed mic, we don't want the cable to be so tight that when you turn, you rip it out of place. In this chest strap, it's kind of great because it does it for you in a way. You can just feed it a little back that way, and you can use a piece of our Ursa tape to keep that just in place where you want it. So tape is always a great option. What are some other cable tension relief, cable management tricks you use?
Some people will do what's called a sailor's knot. I haven't done it in a while, but I'll show you a sailor's knot.
Okay. Navy guy over here, he's got his knots.
I have another lavalier wire here, and I'll show you how to do it.
All right, here we go.
So you take a wire. That's a sailor's knot. Now you'll notice that I got this nice and loose here. Okay. And what you do is you can run across with a piece of tape across the concealer here.
Yep.
And then you got this little sailor's knot here that's also kind of taking the turning the cable for you a little bit.
Yep.
And once you got that mounted on yourself, your strain relief is, so if you tape it here, you know, and your skin stretches, you got some play in there.
I like that.
And this is also acting as a little bit of a suspension here. So, but the trick is don't pull it tight. You're not tying your shoes here. You know, you're just kind of keeping it just a little bit loose, you know.
Nice.
And then if you'll notice, you see how I got the sailor's knot done? So at face value, it looks simple, but actually I tied it in a certain way because what I'm trying to do is the looping is actually forcing it, it's forcing it back towards the skin.
Totally.
Yeah.
You can use some Ursa tape for this, which is hypoallergenic and comes off cleanly and easily, doesn't leave any residue on clothing or your skin. But tension relief on the cable is very important. All right, so now we're bringing you transmitters. This is a very essential part of your setup that will have to be placed somewhere on your person. If you know you're going to be stationary, sometimes you can get away with it sitting on the desk next to you. I don't ever recommend this because even I have tried to do that and I forget that it's there and I get up and it falls off the table, hits the ground. It's not a pretty
It's basically like driving away from the gas pump with the hose still in your car.
It's the worst. Oh my God.
It's very embarrassing.
Yep. So I have a larger transmitter here. This is a Sennheiser G3. These are amazing. I've used these for a lot of dock work. The downside to these is that they're a little heavier and they're obviously bigger. Now, we have pouches that are sized to this, but if you're wearing a super skin-tight dress or you have just a little bit of athletic clothing on, there's certain outfits where this will genuinely be harder to hide. So you might want to budget for a different type of wireless in a situation like that if you know that you're going to need a smaller transmitter. And that brings me to what Eric has in his hand.
So for me, I'm a production sound mixer and I'm the owner-operator of all my own equipment, and all of my transmitters are from Zaxcom, and I have quite a few of the Zaxcom ZMT3s. They're very, very small. So depending on a lot of variables, one of the things I might choose is going to be one of the waist packs, you know. So if the person's pants, I can't like put a belt clip on them, and if they're wearing a onesie, there's a lot of reasons why you use this. So on this particular strap, you've got the pouch here on the back, and the Zaxcom ZMTs, they fit down in here really, really great. And there's got just enough tension in here that
holds it very
holds
snugly.
it in there. Yeah, it holds it in there pretty good. Now let's back up just a little bit, because we were just talking about cable management.
That's right.
Most of the lavalier wires that I have in my kit are anywhere from like 5 to 6 feet long. The reason that is because you got this wire that's, you know, starting at the sternum, coming around underneath the pec, and then coming down the torso, and sometimes I'll put it all the way down at the person's ankle.
Absolutely. Some of you may have done that, been given the lav bullet or something like a long stick to get it all the way down to your ankle.
Yep. So there's a lot of extra cable there. So where are you going to put that? So if I got this at the base of my back, I've got like 3 extra feet of cable there that's got to go away. Well, what you can do is, if you got some of those little finger-sized rubber bands, okay, you put that on your finger first, and you can loop up that cable, and then right next to where the main pouch is you got a secondary little pouch where you can tuck that excess cable that you don't need.
Yep,
right
out of
there.
everything.
Yeah.
Now, what if somebody just takes a transmitter, sticks it in their back pocket, and sits down on it?
So RF does not pass through water. It just doesn't.
And we are made of
70% water. So the more that this thing is buried,
Yep.
even around flesh, you're gonna lose range.
Yep, totally. So having it somewhere, I mean, that's why these straps are so great. You can place them anywhere. They're so versatile. You can have it on your outer ankle, your inner thigh. There's so many options with these. So one of my other personal favorites is the Ursa back strap. Now, I did a documentary recently where we were in with a lot of gymnasts in these gyms, and we're watching them do insane moves that were amazing. These are Olympic level gymnasts. Once I put that back strap under their leotard, that transmitter did not move. It was amazing. So these Velcro like so, very easily, and then it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. I can actually show you how to take Velcro apart,
Yeah?
and you won't hear it. Okay. So all you got to do, okay, this is cool.
God damn it! Actually really scared me.
I saw somebody do that on Reddit. I've been waiting to do that since you started this.
Oh, you got me. Oh, God. All right, so for our last tip, we're gonna call this one fabric, fidgeting, and fixes.
I can dig it.
So I have my grandmother's necklace on today. It's gonna help me make a little point about jewelry. I've worked in a lot of documentary situations where a subject during a very quiet interview has some real jangly bracelets, a loud moving necklace. And sometimes there's just nothing to do about it. You have to work around it. You can think about things like do your dialogue in between movement, but that doesn't come out so well. It can be a bit stiff.
Yeah,
Something-
because like, you know, if I talk to you like this, hey, let's go over to Subway. It's over there. You know, it's like we're not robots.
Exactly.
So what do you want to try to do with that is
So-
keep it from sliding?
Exactly. We don't want this noise. Here, let's see. Can you hear it in my lavalier? It's very noisy. So I can take a little piece of Ursa tape, either the sticky tape or the very sticky tape, depending on how much coverage I would need. Just a little bit on the back. Stick it either directly to the clothing, directly to the skin, whatever works. Let's talk about some other things to just keep in mind, like picking your outfit for the day, what types of fabrics you want to stay away from, what types of fabrics are more conducive to a nice silent take. What else?
Polyester's not a good one.
Scratchy. Absolutely.
Cotton's usually pretty wet.
Cotton's really
pretty good.
nice, yeah.
Silk is not too bad.
Silk can be good.
But some of the more synthetic fabrics, in my experience, have been a little more problematic.
That's true.
You know, but you just adapt and overcome.
If you cannot move a lot while you're talking, that'll help you. If you can just go with a different outfit altogether, that's awesome. If you can't, we have some other products that can help you. The mini mounts are a great option because they create that space in the clothing, right? They'll
Create a little boundary.
Exactly. They'll lift one layer away from the other layer. Now, if you need even more protection in that case, I will often pair a mini mount with a piece of fur, either directly on top of the mount or on the opposing fabric that would touch the other fabric.
So if you're at home and you're a vlogger, what I highly, highly recommend doing is take some time where you're not messing with the camera. Put your receiver on your desk or on your waist, plug your headphones into that, and practice wiring yourself using various different methods, be it you're adding fur to the outside of it, you're using a concealer, or just any plethora of things, but find what works. But what you need to do is this takes practice. I've been recording sound professionally for 21 years, and I'm not an expert on anything. I know there's certain methods and procedures that I know that work and tried and true, but I don't know everything. So, you know, sometimes when no one's around, you know, I get a little bored. Hey, let me try this little thing out, try this little method out, you know, having other little tricks.
Absolutely. I mean, it's all about trial and error. Listening is a super important element of what we do. Just listen, try things, fail, change your clothes, change the wind protection, just do a bunch of different stuff and see what works for you specifically. These tips are things that have worked for us in the past, but Eric's been doing this longer than I have. He's still learning. I'm definitely still learning. We hope this has been helpful. If you have any comments, questions, please leave them down below. we'll do our best to answer you and give a detailed response. Thank you so much.
Stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy.
Bye.